Can you let me know if you can? Oh, we have a weird echo. I'm assuming you guys can hear me. That work? Do you know what? It's um, it's one of them weird things. Can you hear me now? Yes, my phone is telling me. My phone is a bit of a sort of a latency thing going on. But yes, I'm sure you can hear me now. All right, guys, we'll try again. Um, so, no real reason for going online except for uh, I think I needed some kind of human interaction as best you can get it in something like this. I've got tons of stuff that I can do and should be doing, but I've had a bit of a day where you just kind of stuck in a rut and your brain won't function. I'm learning that this is a definite sign of inattentive ADHD, which means when you've got stuff piled up in your head, instead of just, it's like imagine you've got this bottle full of fizzy pop and you're shaking it all up. You can't just go, oh, I'll drink it. You just got to, like, do something to let the pressure out first. Otherwise, it just explodes in your face. Anyway, hello, Brian. Hello, Matt. How you all doing? What you all been up to? Um, I've been trying to shoot tomorrow's YouTube video, which I need to edit this evening in order to get it done in time. Made some progress, which was decent. Saw Oppenheimer yesterday, which was good. I gave up on the idea of Barbie because it turns out it's not the fun comedy everyone says it is. It is for some people, and but for most people, they're saying it's a thinly veiled, mean-spirited attack on the patriarchy. And I don't really understand how insulting guys in my demographic, i.e., old and white, is actually going to help matters. Anyway, nastiness aside, yeah, as you can see here, um, bloody students, a little bit of news. I've been back and forth the location where we're shooting the what I'm calling scene 66. Execute order 66. It's actually changed now to scene 75. The only difference is we've now moved from draft 5 to draft 6, and we're leaving it at that. And even now, right now, my brain has come up with potential other lines that are slightly funnier, but I'm not going to start a new draft. I will note them into the script and surprise everyone on the day and go, by the way, your line has changed. And that's really going to annoy everyone. So that's the way I'm rolling with this one. I can't keep doing drafts of scripts. I've got too much to do. Where are we now? 24th of July. Goodness me, right? So in just under 2 months, I've got to finish making or assembling and painting the 7-foot sarcophagus that I've got downstairs. The 11... No, I don't have to do the plinths because that's the museum stuff. I've got to get together some more props, some more set dressing. I need at least 2 full mummy costumes ready to go. And I've got to organise who's doing what and stuff. And it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. I don't have a team as such. Ideally, life would be great if I had like 4 people in my team who would basically, I'd go, okay, dude, you need to do this, 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 and this. See if you can get that done. Dude, see if you can get that done. You handle that, and you handle that. But thing is, I totally understand that people aren't going to share as my enthusiasm, and they've got their own lives and things to do. Unfortunately, this is the reality of low-budget filmmaking: is you've got to do everything yourself, except for the acting. I'm actually looking forward to being to making a film that I'm not in. Isn't that weird? Because I've always wanted to be an actor, but having done that and also knowing how horrible it is to try and learn lines against your will when your brain wants to reject them. It's nice for me to actually take a break and sit behind the camera and poke and prod my actors into saying the words the way I want them said. I hope some of my cast aren't watching this. They'll be like, dude. No, I'm trying not to rule the set with an iron fist. I've heard of directors, and I can totally understand directors who turn into absolute tyrants on set. You know, James Cameron in his early years apparently was horrible to everyone. So was Stanley Kubrick. So was Ridley Scott. And I think to a certain extent Ridley Scott still is. But I want to be a Spielberg. I want everyone to sort of be laid back and have fun, but not at the expense of wasting time. You know, this is the kind of speech I need to be making. I will tell you about my Mando, mate. Yeah, I will, because I do need other things to talk about, and I'll tell you what's going on with that. So I want the experience of making this film, for me especially, to be fun. It wasn't fun last time. The entire experience of Offworld from start to finish was, as I've always said, 50% bliss, 50% nightmare. Unfortunately, I was hoping I could bury the trauma, but, you know, as time goes by, I think of Offworld and I think of the result compared to the grief. The film could have been better, even though we had 7 years to keep trying to make it better. It's not terrible, but it's not as great as it should have been, as like to reward all the grief I had. But I'm glad it's out. I'm glad out. I'm glad it's finished. It's at the States, and my hands are free of that now. So I do feel a lot of freedom. But in many ways, this is going to sound weird, and hopefully it's not going to sound ungrateful. In many ways, Bloody Students is my first film, because everything feels right. Do you know what I mean? Everything feels like correct. Even stuff that's gone vaguely wrong, like, for example, our 2 lead actors dropped out. They dropped out with my encouragement, in a way. I saw how busy they were getting. I saw how stressed they were getting, and how they were unable to sort of juggle all these things at once, including my film. So I said to them, look, this is your chance to get out while you can and save your sanity and save my sanity, because I've got time to recast. And they were like, yeah, let's agree to disagree. So I would rather that than a kind of, you know, split where I resent them and there's bad feeling stuff. Jeff and Mandy are probably not watching this, but I love them to death, and I will work with them in future on something. I don't know what and I don't know when, but I will not be satisfied until I get those 2 in front of a camera in something, because they are totally awesome people with more skills than they even realize, and I love them. I love them. So that's good. That's the best way it could have happened. And now we've cast Ruby. I'm going to see if I can... YouTube. I'm just going to see if I can bring in the cast pictures. Where are the cast pictures? Give me a second. I'm going to close that down. So you should have people. Yeah, okay. Underground. You're right. That's bang on. Matthew H. here has said, Offworld sounds like your underground demo that's got you your deal, and Bloody Students is your first studio LP. Mate, this is why you are the great Junior Disparal, because you have got away with words, mate. I'm telling you. Enough respect due. That's exactly the way it is. Offworld was my underground demo, which, obviously being an ex-rapper myself, I did a lot of demos. I do have the cassettes. I still have the cassettes of some very ropey stuff, but you learn the ropes. Literally, you learn how to produce, and you learn how to write and everything else, and even how to perform. But this one is my studio LP, as it were. It's like, now we do it with added quality and a lot more like the blinkers are off and the filters are down. It's like, now I see clearly for the first time. Talking of which, I had my eyes tested, and this eye's getting really bad. And I've got the very, very early beginnings of cataracts, and I need to have glasses. And I can't afford glasses, even with Glasses Direct 40% off vouchers. Sorry, I'm whinging. Someone is messaging me. Oh, it's okay. Uh, yes, I think so. Anyway, so yeah, definitely, it's Bloody Students is the one that I think. Well, I've I've at least learned a lot more. I wouldn't say I've honed my skills, but I've definitely sharpened them a lot better. And I feel more in control. I feel more relaxed. I feel more creatively liberated, freed up from some of the things that didn't work or held me back, or I didn't feel right. Here's a good picture. Look at that. That was me, age 17, on the YTS scheme, wearing a nice Puma hoodie that I had for my birthday that I took off one Friday night in the Cooper's Arms pub in the 80s, obviously. And I never saw it again. Like that hoodie. But I was asked to wear a shirt that day because I was the only one who was reasonably photogenic enough, because it was all full of heavy metalists, photogenic enough to pose with a camera. That picture, by the way, that picture made it onto billboards all over the place. Apparently there was one in Newport, another one very close to my town, and people would see that. And next to it was the slogan, "The best advertisement for YTS is the people who've done it." Something like that. Yeah, YTS, best years of my life. Not kidding. Most people say the school days were their best days of life. Mine was YTS. Loved it. Where are my cast? Hang on, where are my cast? Cast. Here we go. So it's cracking, isn't it? Look at my. I had this. What do we call it? Afro mullet. Because it was super tight curls and stuff. And a mate of mine said, like a spider web when it rains or you got dew on it, that's how your hair goes when it rains. It was like I had Soul Glow on. You'll get that joke, Matt. I had the Soul Glow look. Every time it rained, like the rain would sit on my hair. And it wasn't because of like hairspray or anything like, or mousse or gel or anything. It was just naturally pubic, as they say. So where's our new cast members? Ching! Ah! Ruby, Atlanta, Boland. She has a triple-barreled name. Ruby, I cast a lot sooner than the deadline because when I mean, right, total disclosure here. When I first saw some photos of Ruby, because she applied a long time ago, and I actually went back through the emails to see who else applied for certain roles, and I'm like, she doesn't really fit the character of Trish in my mind, which is a big part of casting people. And I was like, I don't know. But she won me over because of the professionalism, the amount of stuff she'd done, and the way she came across in her videos, not just the auditions, but the the stuff on her show reel and stuff. I'm like, dang, she's good. And even if they're not playing the same type of character in their show reel, you kind of go, you get the feeling of, yeah, they can tweak their performance. They're capable enough to have the skills to play the character the way I want it. So very, very excited, because again, with Ruby, and like a lot of the cast on this film, I think most of these people are, like the Brat Pack. They're kind of like the youngsters who are about to get discovered, and I'm kind of sneaking in there at the last minute to try and see if I can get these, but bound to be celebs at some point. Try and get them in my movie so I can, I can brag about, I put them in their first feature, even though it's like they were destined for greatness anyway, and I'm just sort of hanging on to their coattails. And I don't mean that in a wanky, lovey way. It's like these people are really, really skilled actors, and Honestly, I know I'm a little bit of a bit of a talentless hack. Andy T, Andy, hello, dog bloke. Um, yeah, it's not even 10 o'clock yet, and I'm well ahead. I'm going for it. Yeah, so that's Ruby. Now, why have I got Finn up there? Sorry, Finn. I meant Chris. Um, Chris Tompkins got cast last week. Chris came right out of the off the radar kind of thing. He was. I was literally sending emails out to people saying who weren't successful in the casting, and we were kind of. I mean, I've heard this. I heard this recently about that Ncuti Gatwa, who's playing the new Doctor Who. Russell T Davies said that they basically picked the person they wanted, and then Ncuti came in at the last minute with an audition that blew everyone away, and they went, "Oh, oh, the game has changed. Someone's come in with four aces," and this is kind of what happened with Chris Tompkins. Not a lot of people have heard of him in the cast. Hang on, let's go to quickly bring up Devonte. Everyone knows Devonte. Devonte is. I'm surprised I didn't know him a lot sooner, because everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a friend of Devonte's." So I should just change the title of the film to "Friend of Devonte's." But still, let's go back to Chris. Yeah, I think I've got too many windows open now. Let me just try and close some of these. Close that one. Close that one. There we go. Yeah, so Chris came in at literally the 11th hour with a really, really good audition that he did a week before, but just didn't get round to sending it in. And I was typing in the emails, just telling people, okay, unfortunately you didn't get the role. And then his email popped up, and I'm like, there's always someone who comes in at the last minute. Well, this better be good. And I clicked on it. I went, bang. Made me had to completely reassess all the other auditionees for this role. Matt H, if you're still watching, you can see where I kind of got the name from. Fordy, our mutual friend Darren Ford, Cardiff rap legend for many, many years, goes by the name of Fordine. But also, it wasn't entirely that. I think it was mainly, well, basically adding a Y to the end and calling him Fordy comes from Fordy the rapper. So he's inspired in that way. But the name Ford came from Ford Prefect from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because the Trish character is based on Trisha McMillan, a.k.a. Trillian from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And the Benny character, her surname is Douglas. There's Hannah playing Benny. Her surname is Douglas, which comes from Douglas Adams. Yeah, so going back to Chris. Yeah, so he came in with an audition that was strong enough to get the role anyway. And I'm like, I need to see more. He'll be eating out there. Yeah, Fordy was like, "Oh mate, if anyone says Fordy in the film, send it to me as a sample. I'll use it." I'm like, "Yeah, totally." And like I say, if I could persuade some of you guys to, like, put a tune together, that we can, even if we just use it in the background or rolling on the end credits, that'd be quite nice. Again, like I say, I don't have the cash to pay you guys to do this thing. It's just it's the same with all the music. We were given some music from a couple of people, and they were like, "Just put it in the film with my blessing." That's great, And I'm not commissioning anyone with a promise of cash. And again, on a super low budget film, I can't just say, "Yeah, well, okay, I'll put your song in there and I'll pay you royalties for the rest of your life," because it's not how it works. It's just, I'm broke, It's not. We're not Hollywood, right? We're not even Blackwood. Anyway, so I know you'll do something, Matt, because you're prolific AF, which is cool. But no, Chris came in, and I looked at some of his other stuff, his showreel stuff of his theatre. He recently played Robert Oppenheimer on stage. So, that was playing a chap a lot older than he currently is, and with an American accent from start to finish. And respect. Very topical. Very good timing. Jammy Git. How jammy is that timing for, how much to play Oppenheimer and get cast the week the film comes out. So, yeah, looking forward to working with Chris and Ruby, obviously, as new cast members, and hopefully meeting them. I met Chris last week. I haven't met Ruby in person yet, but I will have to speak to them all and meet them as well. We got a social coming up at some point, so we will hopefully meet as many as we can, if at all possible. Alrighty, I think it's time to close that. And Trish, and we're back to Poiple. What we were saying, yeah, my Mando helmet. Do I have any pictures here? I'll have a check. I don't know if I've got any. I have to go through my 2023 folder. Okay, well let's pop that up. So as you can see, it's just a wee test. That is a Boba Fett helmet without the rangefinder and any of the side greeblies yet. I'm just doing the sanding. It's moved on a little bit from this photo. It's now a mustardy yellow color with a lot more filler that's all been sanded dead smooth. You can see all the 3D printing lines on it. I'm trying to eliminate as many of them as possible. And that's the suit that I'm going with it. But I'm not making a Boba Fett costume, right? I'm not making a Mando costume, Din Djarin. It's going to be an completely... I wouldn't say completely original character. There is a theme to this character. It's a generic Mandalorian that has a certain theme, and I'm going to leave that. Go, it's tight around the waist, isn't it? I'm going to leave the actual theme a secret until we get further down the line, because it's a joint cosplay. If you know, you know, but if you don't know, I ain't going to tell you. But yeah, basically, what's all these stupid videos? That's me. I don't want me. I want. There we go. This is the way. This is the way. Yeah. So yeah, that was my custom gun that I was sort of going up. The paint was a bit of a mess, but I did scruff it up a little bit more. I'm going to scuff it up even more because that's far too glossy. It needs to be rough, but you can't sandpaper it or you'll peel the black paint off. So I'm going to do what I can. Oh, that's part of the sorry, Dalek smut. One day I'll have a Dalek that works, and it'll be like that, or it'll be like that. This is the Jon Pertwee era, and this is the genesis of the Daleks era. Oh. Anyway, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit more about... Oh, by the way, the Mandalorian thing, I'm hoping... yeah, exactly. Matt, get yourself a helmet, because being an artist as well, once you've done all the prep and the sanding and the filling, I'm fairly sure you're going to have a whale of a time just thinking up color schemes and weathering, and you can put hieroglyphics on it, you can put tags on it, you put anything you like. If you must know of the guy called Hip Hop Trooper. His name escapes me at the moment, but he's from the States. He carries a ghetto blaster. He's got a stormtrooper outfit in bright red with Adidas stripes all over it and rope chains. And he's a b-boy about our age, and he's known as Hip Hop Trooper. And there's no Hip Hop Mandalorian yet. That type of helmet's cool. So many things I want to do, man. I want a Judge Dredd outfit as well. Not as Judge Dredd, but a generic Mega City 1 copper. So yeah, Hip Hop Trooper, exactly. Anyway, I have just finished reading Welcome to Neverbury. I know some of you, or basically anyone who's watching. Let's have a look. How many people are watching? Hang on. I can't tell. Maybe I should look at YouTube. That would help. According to this, 3 people. All right, well, we'll just keep going. Yeah, so basically, what I'm saying is, if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. But if you're a stranger, just come across this video, I'll tell you about it. Welcome to Neverbury is a book. It's currently not in physical format. It's on Amazon as a Kindle, which you can download, watch it on, read it on your phone, read it on your PC, whatever, that kind of thing. But Chris Lynch, if you didn't know him, has a background in writing graphic novels and comics. He's since written quite a lot for Candy Jar, my book publisher in Cardiff, and basically he's done a lot of Doctor Who spin-off stuff. Hip Hop Mando, bootleg action figures. That rings a bell, actually, especially the figures, but not costume. Anyway, so what we're saying is that Chris Lynch co-wrote Offworld with me, and he, a couple of months ago, got into this sort of writing challenge where you had to write short stories based on a few, what's the thing? A few code, not code words, but ideas. There's a list of words going. Pick some words, write a short story. And Chris can't write a short story. His brain is far too productive, man. So he's like, his first short story was 2,500 words apparently. Elman, hello, Elman. Not sure who Elman is. Can't really see your. It's my eyesight. My eyesight's anything, but welcome. We're talking about all sorts of stuff. So anyway, Chris Lynch wrote 15 short stories and set them all in a little town called Neverbury, which doesn't exist. It's a typical town by the sea, and it's a little bit weird and a little bit creepy, and all sorts of stuff's going on. It's a bit. If you've ever watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Sunnydale is supposed to be built on what they call the Hellmouth. So obviously there's vampires and demons and all sorts of weird stuff going on. Well, Neverbury is that kind of town. It's a creepy town. It's a little bit kind of League of Gentlemen, Inside Number 9, Stranger Things. You can see some tentacles coming from the sky. My opinion on the Romania-Hungary War of 1919. Yeah, I've got one. Anyway, so in Welcome to Neverbury, there's 15 stories, and all of them are slightly different, but they're all set in the same town. I read it like a loony, because every time Chris puts something out, I'm like, oh, I got to read this. Okay, Goji98, hello. Opinion on the bridge tower of the Executor class vessel. Yeah, weak spot. Weak spot. Yeah, you could probably take out the bridge with a cleverly placed shot. Anyway, sorry, what was I saying? Yes. So anyway, I read all of Welcome to Neverbury, 15 short stories, all connected, in like 2 days. I could have done it in a day, but life gets in the way. And then I said to Chris, this could do with someone to read it as an audio book. He said, good idea, let's do that. So he got me to record it, and I finished it this morning, actually. Finished recording it. Oh man, do you know the Arrow 244 cars? Nope, don't know any idea what that is. I don't know what Arrow is, I don't know what the significance of 244 is, and I don't know anything about cars. No, I'm too old. I don't drive, so, So I finished recording Welcome to Neverbury as an audiobook. It's currently being processed by Amazon and Audible, so it's a big first for me. I've read loads of stuff and recorded loads of stuff, but this is my first official Audible audiobook, and we're looking forward to it. Chris is actually working on a sequel to Welcome to Neverbury, because everyone is going mad about it, going, oh, I've got to find out what goes on with all these different characters and situations. It's tons of fun, and it's only like $2.99 on Amazon at the moment. You can read the first story for free if you go to his website, or I think even if you go to Amazon. But I'm really excited about where things are going with Welcome to Neverbury. I want to do more voiceover stuff. And, I will, I'm sure I will at some point. He was a Quantel operator, Chris. I don't know. When you say Quantel, are you thinking of, like the video effect system? Because I know the BBC invented a screen video effect system that they used in the 80s called Quantel. It could be that. It may be something else. Chris is big into search engine optimization. He's a very technical savvy person. Um, Ironically, he's not great on social media. But yeah, Chris is very big on his social. What's it called? Search engine optimization. That's the thing that he does. Uh, anyway, that's a terrible idea. When do we start? That patch spoke to me. It was on. I went to Glaston Selfie Festival a couple of weeks ago, and there was a kind of a bikers stall selling patches for people's denim jackets and stuff. And there was all sorts of crude and slightly funny and not very funny and bizarre embroidered patches. But I saw that one. I thought, yeah, that's like a motto for my life. That's a terrible idea. When do we start? Yeah, so I'm just going to keep doing things. Goji98 says, Dearest Falaj, a melody of mirth, thy presence lift thy server's dreary dearth. With humour and compassion, wisdom rife, thou spices conversations, give them life. With grace that you have chose. Okay. Little bit of poetry there. Thank you for that, Goji98. Just checking on the old on the mobile here. Not a lot going on, which is fine. So anyway, peeps, terrible ideas. I'm trying to avoid doing terrible ideas. I'm at a weird stage of my life now. You know, they say life begins at 40, and people say, "Oh, 40, you're too old now. You got to start giving up and all that." But it's more a case of when you hit your 50s, you actually do settle down and you start thinking of the importance. Basically, you get the idea that your life's running out, right? And you're like, oh, how much time have I got left? And you see, I start seeing people around me roughly the same age, some even a little younger, unfortunately, dying. And you kind of go, I need to do more. Quick question from Elman. Do you know Dacia Logan? No, it sounds like a cross between a car and Wolverine. Dacia Logan. Nope, I know not who that is, sorry. But yeah, so I think I'm at the stage where I'm, someone says they've been given like a short time left to live. You start going, I better get my affairs into order. Well, I'm doing that. Not because I've got a short time left to live, although I could keel over in this very video. Who knows? I'm not that fit and healthy. But Dacia Logan, it's a car. It does sound like a car. Dacia, yeah. Or Dacia, depends how you pronounce it. But I'm getting my affairs into order. It's basically a kind of, I guess some people will call it a midlife crisis that guys in their 50s have. And you basically decide to focus on what's important. No, Elman, I don't have a car, unfortunately. Never have had a car. It's down to I've had one or two driving lessons when I was a teenager and didn't find it very easy or comfortable. And even then, and as now, I can't afford a car. So I said that once to a girl who said to me, "You can't drive? That's a basic human right." And I was like, "No, it ain't. No, it's not. A basic human right is freedom from oppression and access to clean drinking water. But hey, let's agree to disagree." So anyway, I'm focusing on, obviously, my film. Like I said earlier, it feels like it's my first film, even though it's my second. It's my first proper film, and I just want to focus on the projects that I'm passionate about and the projects that are doable in a short time frame. And there's stuff that I've created years ago that will probably never see the light of day because I've got to focus on the stuff that has got more chance of being finished. Elman says, I drive a Dacia Logan with a 1.4 DCI engine from 2005 in light grey colour. Well, alrighty then. Hey, look, doesn't matter what car you drive as long as you're happy with it, and any car is better than the car I do not have, so respect. And also relationships. not so much romantic relationships, because I haven't had one of them for quite a while. But I'm learning to live without it. For the most part, I do get lonely, of course I do. But I also, friendships as well. I do not suffer fools gladly. All right, I if I cut someone off, there's a 99.9% chance that you will not be invited back into my life. This I have inherited from my late mother, who can hold a grudge, or could hold a grudge, and did hold a grudge till her dying day, even from her brother, who was an absolute git. But anyway, the thing is, I have of late, been reassessing relationships and working out who's important to me and who isn't. So I will not deal with people who disrespect me, and I will cut them out of my life and take care now, bye bye then, and they won't be coming back. I'm not very good at mending bridges. All right, I'm great at burning them. I will, like everyone, I will make the effort to stay friends with people who are worth it. But if somebody disrespects me or ghosts me or lets me down big time, or gaslights me or anything stupid like that, or anything malicious, see you later. Okay, message from Elman. Yesterday, two individuals approached me with a... Sorry, there's something in the way of your comment. I'm assuming it says bat, and they tried to beat me. I'm sorry to hear that. That's pretty scary. Let me just see if I can check the live messages here on the live chat. It's not letting me. Here we go. With a bat, I was right. Yeah. Oh, that's grim. Yeah, not good. I hope you didn't get beaten. That's a grim thing to hear. Like I say, there are only two people watching, so I'm guessing it's probably might be Andy, it might be Junior. But anyway, I shall carry on. What were we talking about? Life and relationships and stuff, and getting your affairs in order. Yeah, I mean, there comes a time in every man's life where you have to kind of think, well, what am I going to leave behind as my legacy for my kids or friends or whatever? And I think about my own mortality more than a lot of people. I think about what sort of life I've lived and what sort of... I'm beginning to get a bit more realistic, because at the end of the day, we have messages from Etsy. Yeah, Etsy. There was a copyright infringement reports. Oh, right, you've rejected my report, have you? Well, someone's stealing my stuff. Okay, message from Elman following on. So they hit me on my forearm. I worked very hard on that forearm. I'm assuming you mean down the gym. And they grazed it. Then I took the bat as well. I hit one of them in the face, and he punched me, and I fell down. Well, that sounds all very very grim. I haven't had a physical fight, and now it's them calling the police. What does that mean? They start to call the police. Well, if they realise they can't beat you, then they try something else and play victim, unfortunately. I don't know the reasons. Obviously, I don't know you. I don't know the reasons behind the attack or the fight. I'm not a violent person. I haven't had a physical fight for decades, and I'm 54. I don't think I've had a physical fight since 1999. Was it 23 years? 24 years maybe? It's the best part of a quarter of a century. I haven't had a fight. Don't want to fight. Got close to it, but really don't want to fight. As a teenager, I was told I've got a great left hook, but other than that, I haven't used it, and I don't have need to use it. So here's wishing you a lot more peace in your life, for what it's worth. Nobody should be fighting on a regular basis for any reason, because we are hopefully evolving away from that kind of stuff. Yeah, so basically the thing with Etsy that just came through, I had one of my designs some ripped off, and someone else was selling it. But it's Etsy have just come back now and said that they've rejected my report. But it says here that I've just had a second email just came straight in saying we've been unable to find the content you identified as infringing, which means we hope you are able to resolve the issue with the seller directly. Yes, I private messaged the seller, and they said, "Oh, I bought that design from a website." I'm like, "Really?" Because whoever sold it to you was selling you stolen artwork, which was my artwork. But they did remove it, so all's well that ends well there. Message on YouTube. No, that's just me saying I'm alive. Okay. Just going to reply to a message I just had. Thank you, Alex. If you are watching, Alex, I appreciate your input, and I will go to YouTube and do something about that. So Elman says, how can they reject it when it's got your copyright? Oh no, that's Andy. Elman says, I perform what you call the Ochna Market perverse move. Well, I've no idea what that means, Elman. So I don't know. I don't know what that means. Message from Andy. How can they reject it when it's got your copyright written on it? Yeah, my question too, because they happen to pick a design that has my actual name written on the design as part of the design, which is weird. Anyway, we will soldier on. I'm enjoying having this chat. It's good that I finished the Welcome to Neverberry thingy, the Welcome to Neverberry audiobook, so I don't have any voice recording to do tonight, otherwise I'd be a bit dry and a bit hoarse. So I think I've, for the time being at least, combated most of the copyright infringement from the gits. And while I do welcome lots of messages in the chat, unfortunately, Elman, if you're still watching, your messages are very random and are not something I'm very authorized to speak about. You know, things about cars and your recent unfortunate conflict. So maybe we'll discuss that stuff at a later date or at a future time. But I don't really know you, so you know I don't want to start engaging in a major conversation with someone I don't even know. It would not do you any favors, and it won't do me any favors. So I apologize for that. Anyway, so what else are we going to talk about, guys? I've talked a bit about the film. I've talked a bit about. Oh, hello, Rich. Cadno 2099. How you doing? I haven't heard you for a while. It's all going weirdly well for me at the moment, in a way. Just to catch you up, what I was saying is that, you know, I'm super happy about the 2 new lead actors we've cast. Very happy with them. I think they're going to go on to big things. I'm working on a sort of original Mandalorian type character as a cosplay going forward. I do have most of Jack Sparrow, but not enough to wear it. But that's going to involve a lot of money, which I'm not going to do. I've still got Stormtrooper Commander, which is 85% completed, and I've just lost my mojo completely with Stormtroopers because they're jokes now. Really cool costume, really cool design, really cool helmet, but they've been reduced to jokes. Well, no matter wherever you put, just Google it now. Just type in Imperial Stormtrooper, and the first thing you'll get is something going, "Oh, they can't shoot straight. Oh, they can't hit at the target. Oh, aren't you a little short for a Stormtrooper?" It's all very tiring and very tired, and you know. How's the other helm going? The other helmet. Oh, the Hitchhiker's helmet. I was going to say, because currently in my house there's a Din Djarin helmet that's being primed, been prepped, but that's my mate's helmet at the time being. The other helmet, the Hitchhiker's helmet, I did a little bit on it today. And we've had the metal gadget, if you've been following the videos, we've had the metal mounting bracket type thing in the post. I do have to get onto, before it gets too late, I've got to get onto editing the video so it'll be ready for tomorrow morning. So there'll be a little bit of an update on that. I know Mr. E from the States, who basically commissioned me to make that helmet, he'll be happy to see a little bit of an update. But the thing is, it's also a bit scary because obviously at some point I've got to just pull the trigger on it and go, right, let's assemble. And right now I'm still at the, I'm going to get something wrong. I'm going to get something wrong. And if I was making it for myself, it had been finished months ago. But when you've got someone else watching with an eagle eye, the worry is there. It's like, if you're trying to do brain surgery and you've got two people looking over your shoulders, you're like, oh, guys, I'm not being funny, but I'm finding it hard enough as it is without being scrutinized quite closely. So it is tricky, and I want it to look good. I want it to be right, but then I want to, be aware that I'm doing things the right way. But I've had a little bit of progress. I need to buy some decent glue for the leather. I need to buy some a good match paint, and I know to get a certain shade of this. I haven't got a sample of the. It's kind of burgundy-ish red paint, and it's less bright red, more burgundy for this helmet. It's got to match the leather, and I know that's going to cost me probably about 11 quid at Halfords to get a good shade of red for that. But other than that, it's more like just finish off little bits and assemble. So we shall see. Even if I reluctantly creep forward in my progress a little bit at a time. 7 people watching. Hi, 7 people. If you are one of the 7 people watching, and even if you're a stranger, feel free to say hello. I'm not the most entertaining dude in the world, but I do like yapping. I do like talking. So feel free to say hello. Again, if the messages get a little bit random and a little bit kind of, I wouldn't say trollish, but although I have had trolls in the past, they will be kind of temporarily removed, just because I don't know what you're talking about, essentially. But yeah, so the Hitchhiker's Helmet, even if I reluctantly make a tiny bit of progress every week, sooner or later we will get to the end. Pseudo Noodle, hey, how you doing? I like your little character thingy there. I don't know if you do follow me or subscribe to me. I'd love to get a decent amount of subscribers. I'm only about 249. Alex, glad things are coming along. Keep pushing on. I'm sure you and the cast will bring to the great film you've worked on. Mate, honestly, I appreciate that more than you know, because I do have a circle of friends who are like, yeah, the film's going to be good. But when I hear it from people who, I don't hang out with very much or at all, it's like a vote of confidence, and it pushes me onwards, because, you haven't read my script. You may have seen some posts and stuff and that, but you haven't read the script, and you have a bit of faith in me, and that's what keeps creative people going, is a bit of faith, that it's gonna do things. And if you want to read the script, Alex, I'll get it over to you. I'm not asking for a review or anything like that, but if you're curious and like, well, what exactly is this film about, and you want to read the script, I'll let you read it. Because for anyone else in the chat watching, I worked for Alex's dad for many years, and good people. So, that's the thing. Let me just check what's happening on Instagram. Not a lot, just in case I had a couple of reactions there. But yeah, I think the film, like a lot of my things, will be decent, funny, reasonably well made. People will say, "Oh, it's a bit like this, and it's a bit like that," but people do that anyway. You know, uh, if I said, "Look at this bottle," they'll go, "It's like an Evian bottle," even though it's a Volvic bottle. People will always try and compare it to something, and use similes or metaphors and say, well, this is like something else. When people first saw R2D2, they said, oh, it's Dusty Bin, and vice versa. So, you can't avoid comparisons, which is fine. And people will say, oh, Terry's film is a bit like Shaun of the Dead with mummies. But that's what I've been saying it is from day one, and I really don't mind that. There are worse films to be compared to, right? And it's no secret I'm a massive lover of the Shaun of the Dead and Edgar Wright franchise. And this copy here, let me move my screen so you can see it a bit better. So I can see it a bit better. You'll see here, signed, a signature, by Nicola Cunningham, who played Mary the Zombie in the film. This is Andy's, my co-producer's copy. This is also a signed copy, which I will be using to raise money for the film. Now, Nicola, who played Mary in Shaun of the Dead and in The World's End, she had a little cameo at the start of World's End. She now lives in Canada. So we were very fortunate to catch her in London for a rare visit. And she was super nice to let me meet up with her and film her cameo. You'll be able to see that cameo hopefully by the end of the year if we edit it all together with the other stuff we're shooting in September. But she managed to sign a copy of Shaun of the Dead for me. And I will decide whether I should auction it, raffle it, flog it outright with a certain price to raise money for the film. And that's what her involvement is. Currently, if you're not aware, are there still 7 people watching? It says 5 according to my software. Basically, we've got 3 actors from Shaun of the Dead in my film making cameos. How awesome is that? I can't get over it myself. And Nicola was the hardest one to get because obviously she lives in Canada now. But I want to pay tribute to some of these actors and people that inspired me and entertained me. So to ask them to come in with little cameos, and then also we've got the very, very high possibility that Sophie Aldred's going to play a role in my film. Her and her agent have already said they would if everything goes to plan. So it's not a green light just yet, but it's like a agreement in principle, right? So I don't know if there are any more roles yet to fill in the film. There may be some minor background stuff. I can always squeeze in a comedy cameo, like blink and you miss it type thing. But we do have our eyes on a couple more well-known celebs, British celebs. That would be cool. So I don't know if I should end this chat now. I don't really want to. We're back up to 7 people watching, and I would like to keep going. Alex, yes, you have followed my YouTube for years. I used to, when I was doing some work for your dad up in Merthyr Market, they'd be surprising how many people he told in Merthyr Market about my YouTube channel, and there'd be people I hardly know going, "Oh, you're that Terry on Tuesday guy." I'm like, wow. It's like having proper viewers. It's great. I will do my best to bring the product, Alex. As you know, life is hard, and it's not getting any easier, especially with the current situation with money and governments and all sorts of stuff. But we do what we can, right? Back in the day, it wasn't that long ago when I was at Merthyr Market. It was a couple of years, obviously, before lockdown, but. Even now, if I take a walk around Merthyr Market, I speak to the people in the hardware stall opposite where your dad was, and they remember me and they say hi, which is cool. I don't know how many of them still watch the YouTube videos, but my videos are a bit sporadic. I don't have a theme. I wish I did have like a weekly thing, where I was like, okay, this is my thing. But I don't have that. I don't have a format. I don't have a backdrop. I don't have like decent lighting or camera. I just do what I do, and it's very random. This is why I like to occasionally do a live, so I can chat to people and you know, it's something different than just like film a bit one day, edit it all together and slap it online and then deal with the comments through the week and then do it the same thing the following week. So far, I've been good. I've managed to put a video out every week this year. It's going to get tricky in September when we're filming, but even if it's not on Tuesday, we will be putting up stuff like, you know, behind the scenes and look at the stuff we're currently shooting. So the shooting for this film is going to be a lot less secretive. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil the ending of the film or any major plot points, but I want to be a bit more transparent because we do need to raise money and we don't have a big Kickstarter, you know, bucket to dip into at the moment. All the any money we potentially raised in May on Kickstarter, we didn't receive because it wasn't our target. So although we got to the £2,000 mark, that was potential £2,000 that we didn't get. It just went back to the people who pledged it. But we may look into a fundraiser in the new year. We'll get Christmas out of the way, like I said last year. Get Christmas out of the way, and if people feel a little bit better about seeing what we filmed and what we've done, with the help of my cast and crew to help promote it, we might have a better shot at it second time round. May even set the goal, the monetary goal, lower. I kind of foolishly thought, well, if we raised £10,000 on the last film, then we'll set the goal for 10,000 on this film. And we didn't reach 10,000 at all. We reached 2,000. So we didn't get the money. So maybe I should do like we did last time, set the goal lower. Maybe 3,000, right? It doesn't mean we'll have that £3,000 will enable us to make the entire movie, but it will help get to the next stage and film some more bits and show some more scenes and people, you know, because this film's got like good comedy. He says, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I think it's going to be a lot funnier than most things I've written, and I think it's going to have some decent action, some decent effects. You know, it's got that sort of fun feel about it. Fun is a swear word, apparently. It's the only F word when you're writing stuff. People don't like when you're saying you're making something fun. It's got to be pretentious and it's got to be important and noble and life-changing. No, what happened to fun films? I'm old enough to remember the VHS rental era, where once a week, maybe on a... If it was the... oh, hello. It was... sorry, somebody messaged me on Instagram as well. The VHS era, sometimes in the week you get a guy called the Video Man, and he'd have a car with a boot full of VHS cassettes, and you'd rent them, and he'd pick them up, and then, you know, you pay him and you rent some more for a week. Or you go down the video shop and you'd get them, you know, Blockbuster, everyone remembers Blockbuster videos, that kind of thing. But those eras, when films were being churned out a lot in the 80s, you know, quick turnaround because most special effects were done in camera with rubber masks and rubber creatures and everything else, and realistic, you know, blood and pyrotechnics and everything else. Films were made quicker, and they were there was a lot more emphasis on fun. But now, because of CGI and things taking a long time, and you know, it's harder to get, you know, lots of stuff. I mean, still lots of films get churned out, but at the same time, this film of mine, although it's a kind of loving homage to the Edgar Wright movies, it's still going to be squeezed through the mold of a sort of VHS epic from the 80s. So there's a lot of impractical stuff. There'll be a little bits of CGI, nothing major. We don't have the money or the facilities to do major CGI anyway, but you can do certain things which will help. But I think it's just going to be just a good fun film, and I'm hoping it's going to be one of those films that you can watch a number of times and get a little bit more out of it each time. It's not super layered, but at the same time, it's one of the best things I've written. And who knows? And who knows? So, questions, suggestions, comments, leave them in the chat. I'm not going to disappear just yet. Um, that's a terrible idea. When do we start? Yeah, exactly. Welcome to Neverberry on Amazon with Chris Lynch at the moment. This is not a sponsored plug, but I am reading the audiobook and it's going to be great. Okay, back to purpleness. I'm just going to have a quick check to see if there's anything else that I should be talking about. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Talk amongst yourselves. Well, we're making this at the moment. Maybe I can make it a little smaller. We're going to make a dismembered mummy arm. So that's my very feeble sketch for my mate Noel, who's currently making that. He's very dark on the hand there because these mummies are going to have slightly pointy, bony fingers, which are going to be used as stabbing weapons because mummies need to be a bit more of a threat, right? Yeah, I've got to get going with what do you call it? Mummy costumes. I've pretty much got an idea how to do it all. I want them to look good, obviously, but you've got to dress somebody in these things, and it's not just a case of cutting 10 miles of bandage strips and wrapping them up, which takes hours. I want to try and do it a little quicker. Have I considered a Kangazang film next? Let's try and keep this as a Reader's Digest short answer. Kangazang was one of the first things that I considered for a film. Spent months writing a 120-page movie script based on my first book. Sent it to the Welsh Film Agency, our friends at Film Cymru, who once again told me, ain't no way we're making that. We don't know how you'd make that. That's his actual words. I don't know how you make that. I'm like, CGI. I know people who can do it. All I need is the money. Like, yeah, whatever. Then the guy followed up with a classic line, my job is to turn down 99% of all people who apply. I'm like, wow. So instead of seeing things on their merits, you're just thinking, which ones do I turn down? So yeah, I mean, Kangazang would be an interesting film. Back in the day when I wrote it, I based the two lead characters on Bill Bailey, obviously the comedian Bill Bailey, and Mark Warren. A lot of people don't really know Mark Warren. He was the blonde-haired guy who he's currently playing Van der Valk on telly, but he was in Hustle. Have I got any Hustle here? No, I got rid of them. But he played Dracula a few years ago. Mark Warren and Bill Bailey, and they're both too old to be those characters now. So you'd have to pick someone else. Maybe I just cast with a bunch of people I know. Kangazang's got possibilities. I mean, it is a trilogy. It's not a best-selling trilogy by any means, but it again. I think I would do a slight revamp of it because Kangazang 1, the first book, of which I have a. Where is it? Here we are. Hang on. This is the audio of Kangazang, of the first book, read by Colin Baker, Doctor Who. But this is heavily inspired by The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But by the time you get to book 2 and book 3, the story's moved in a completely different direction. And although you've got an alien and a human as the main characters, like Ford and Arthur, the story's a bit more original. So I would probably have to sit down with a good writer. Chris Lynch? And no, I'd probably sit down with Sean Russell from Candy Jar because he knows Kangazang inside and out more than anyone other than me. And I think a movie of Kangazang would be maybe I'd get all 3 books and cram them together into a shorter, 90-minute film. But that would involve. I thought Bloody Students has got a lot of moving parts like costumes, locations, people. Kangazang, it would be my epic. Kangazang would be my my Force Awakens, my Empire Strikes Back. It would be my Dune. it would involve lots and lots of money, and not just because I do everything cheaply, but it would need lots of money because of so many people would need to do so many things. I can't do it all myself. I'm finding that now. I've got too much to do, but on top of that, there's day job. So when I'm doing day job stuff, I'm feeling guilty for not working on the ever looming date stuck on the wall up there of my my wall planner of bloody students. But when I'm working on bloody student stuff, I'm getting massive pangs of guilt because I should be doing the work right in front of me that pays the rent. And so what do? I do a live video on a Monday night and waste a few hours because I need the dopamine. Yeah, so just having a quick check and just on the sorry, it's gone reasonably quiet on the thingy on the Instagram, so that's good. Yeah, so still 5 people viewing. I'm guessing we've probably got Alex, Matt, Pseudo Noodle, maybe whoever Pseudo Noodle is, Dog Bloke, and maybe Adrian or maybe Richard. Anyway, thank you for watching. Unless anyone's got anything that needs a bit more talking. Going back to your question, Andy, about have I considered Kangazang film? Yeah, that would be awesome. But like I say, it's a huge thing. It'd be like me going from, let's do it in terms of sculpting. It's like I know enough to make Morph. Do you remember Morph? You remember Morph. I know enough to how to make Morph out of clay. And then someone says to me, can you just do like Rodin's The Thinker or something? Actually, I'd enjoy that. I like sculpting. Let's think of a better metaphor. It's like going from Lego to being Pseudo Noodle. Thank you for staying with me. It's like going from building a house in Lego to Matthew still here. Good. It's like building a house in Lego and going to someone saying, make the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's like, wow, Kangazang would be a big production because of there's so much stuff. There's different planets, there's aliens, there would be prosthetics, there would be animatronics, there would be humor, comedy, special effects, CGI, spaceships, funny stuff, cutaways, all kinds of stuff going on. Don't get me wrong, I'd love it, but I don't think I'm going to live long enough to get it made. And sounds a bit morbid, but the only way you can make things that big is to have a big team. And we don't have a big team. But as you may remember, I started on a film called Way Out West a few years ago, which was going to be the next film after Offworld. That didn't happen for a myriad of reasons, but I still think it's one of the best things I've written. I am told by Danny that she still plans to make that film, and that was the plan, to let her make the film. But a couple of years have passed now. We're probably like 2.5 years since that decision, and there's no sign of it. So how about we just make Bloody Students as best as I possibly can, and if the opportunity arises after that, where I might want to just put my feet up and relax for a few years, and let's face it, I think I do, but I still know that Way Out West is one of the best things I've written. It's not 100% written, but the potential is there for it to be even better. Yeah, and you saw the Andy saw the basis of the WoW script and idea. Again, like Bloody Students is reminiscent of Shaun of the Dead. Kangazang is reminiscent of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And Matt, like you say, WoW is, as far as I'm concerned, as far as Terry Cooper's concerned, WoW is not my thing anymore. I'm not in charge of it. I'm not in control of it, and I've got no say in where it goes. Danny said the last time I spoke to her about it, she said she has an idea to get it made, but this won't involve me. Whether that happens or not, because she's got multiple projects on, same as me, and we don't know if these things will ever happen. I'm not saying they won't, but I'm not saying they will. If we get to the end of Bloody Students, and it gets to the distributor or whatever, and it seems to be going okay, And there's a possibility, because I don't want to keep doing Kickstarters to scrape together money to make a film. If I'm happy with Bloody Students, I'll be happy to retire. But if, say, for example, Bloody Students does okay and we get some money back, and it's like a decent budget, then I would be looking at potentially doing Way Out West. But do you know what? Even in the script for Bloody Students, there's a potential for 2 or 3 spin-offs. And sometimes, instead of going, oh, I'll do Way Out West, or I'll do Kangazang, or my superhero thing, and lots of other ideas that I've got, it may be that the demand is there for a Bloody Student spin-off, or a prequel, or a sequel, or whatever. And, it may be a case of making logical sense to do that instead. But, Way Out West is very close to my heart, because I was writing it at a time when I was super stoked, and I thought it was a great idea, and it's a lot of potential. But when it became apparent that I was not in the right frame of mind to make that film, the way things were standing, and to a certain extent, even now, there's issues there. There's issues with approach and direction and compatibility and all sorts of stuff like that I don't know right now if I could make it, but maybe in the future, who knows. The point I was trying to make earlier, I've just gone and digressed. That Shaun of the Dead is, Bloody Students is my Shaun of the Dead. Kangazang is my Hitchhikers. Offworld is not my Star Wars. I'm not even sure what Offworld is. It's like Alive, if you remember that. But WoW is like Back to the Future or Bill and Ted. It's closer to Bill and Ted, I'd say. It's closer to Bill and Ted than Back to the Future. But it's that kind of vibe, I've always fancied the idea of doing what Zack Snyder's currently doing. When he finished off on Justice League, he wrote a Star Wars script which got rejected, and he turned it into a project called Rebel Moon, which I've seen some stills of, and it's going to come out onto Netflix or something very soon, maybe HBO Max, I don't know. But it's his Star Wars script that he's turned into its own IP. I would like to do a sci-fi EP. IP. I'd also like to do something with a robot or with robots. Obviously, I'm a massive robot nut, and I like films like Bicentennial Man, films like The Day the Earth Stood Still, anything that's got like one robot. Not like what's the Will Smith one? iRobot. Yeah, I mean, that's nothing like the original iRobot story from Isaac Asimov, but something with a robot or robots, that would be good. Oh, robots. But again, lots of special effects involved, CG and practical. But there is a robot idea that's been. I wrote a short story involving a robot back in, I will say, 1995, and currently it's in the form of a short story, and maybe I could do something with that. It might be something that we could squeeze into Welcome to Neverbury, but that's Chris Lynch's book, not mine, and I'm sure he's got his own ideas. So there is that. Yeah, robot stuff would be good. Yeah, everyone likes robots. I mean, Chappie came out, and while it looks stunning, I know Chappie was not a great film. Neil Blomkamp's stuff, his early stuff with his robots that helped him get District 9 made, and Chappie, and Elysium to a certain extent. I mean, you can't fault the quality of CGI in his films anyway. It's motion capture stuff, but goodness me, like the integration of the aliens in District 9 and Chappie in the real world, it's just perfect, isn't it? Really good. Bicentennial Man was really underrated. Yeah. Yes, it was again another Isaac Asimov short story, and basically it was retooled into a comedy drama for Robin Williams, who brought his own spin on it. Really great robot suit. Always fancied having a copy of that, or a nice 3D printed one. But yeah, do you know what I watched? The last time I watched Bicentennial Man, I don't even own it. Why do I not own that? I've got DVDs all down here, all over there, and I don't own Bicentennial Man. Probably because the last time I watched it was around 2003 or 4. No, it was definitely after 2005, because it was around 2006 maybe, because my mum passed away in 2005, and Bicentennial Man deals with, immortality, life and death, and it's very tearjerkery at the end. And the last time I watched Bicentennial Man, I couldn't get to the very end of the film without floods of tears, and that's rare for me because I'm quite emotionally constipated. But obviously, having just lost my mum, man, it got me right there. But I'd like to write a film that gets people right there. I'm not all, slapstick and fart gags, even though I love slapstick and fart gags. But I'd like to write something deep, maybe. Again, robots are a good thing because robots do that thing where they hold a mirror up to humanity, and that they tell us things about ourselves through the eyes of a robot who doesn't really understand humanity as well as we do. So that's why the most popular character on the Star Trek: The Next Generation was Data, because he was the Pinocchio. He was the artificial person who wanted to be a real boy. So yeah, anything with robots, really good. There was a film that came out a few years ago called Robot and Frank, and it starred Frank Langella, who used to play Skeletor. Remember, in the Dolph Lundgren He-Man movie? But Frank Langella was playing an old man who is in a nursing home. He's not in a nursing home. No, he lives on his own. But because the choice is either go into a nursing home or have a domestic home robot. So his son, James Marsden from Cyclops from the X-Men, his son and his wife decide to get him a home helper, a little robot. Now, it is played by a very small actress in a suit, but it looks like one of the Honda robots, Asimo, with a black visor. So this Frank, being an ex-burglar, decides to talk the robot into, doing robberies. Not car chases or anything like that, but, robbing stores or houses or whatever, burglary. And it's a bit of fun in there, like Bicentennial Man, but it's also a lot of heart, because he's suffering from dementia and stuff like that in his final years. But yeah, I mean, you could do a lot with a robot story. I just always been fascinated by robots. I don't know why, and bionics, like the Bionic Man, that kind of stuff. Man, where's the Bionic Man movie? Right? Kevin Smith was working on a script for the Bionic Man a long time ago, and I think his approach was to make it as serious as possible. And I read there was a limited comic, a release of comic based on his script called The Bionic Man, and it was great because they painted the character to look like Lee Majors. And then I heard that Ben Stiller was going to direct a Bionic Man movie, whether he's going to play Steve Austin or not. But the joke was it's going to be called The $6 Million Man, and the joke was that $6 million doesn't get you very good technology, so he'd be a bit crap. Which I don't think I liked. I want it to be as dramatic as possible. Go back to the original Cyborg novel by Martin Caidin that the $6 Million Man was based on. That was, I read that and I thought that was great. So yeah, let's do a $6 billion man. Not long after the Ben Stiller idea, there was news of Mark Wahlberg wanting to do it, and again, it's one of those things that's stuck in development hell. $6 Million Man, adapted from the novel by a guy called Ken Johnson. I think it's Ken Johnson, who did V, if you remember V, the Incredible Hulk TV series. Again, I think he's not with us anymore, but he was another of those creative geniuses like Glenn A. Larson, who did Buck Rogers and Knight Rider and all those kinds of things. And Battlestar Galactica, obviously. There's a new Galactica on the way, apparently. Yeah, okay, so it's coming up to 11 o'clock. There are still 5 viewers, which is awesome. Thank you for joining us and joining in and popping in and out, and occasional messages. Who knows? Who knows what we'll get up to? I'm just checking the YouTube live chat on my phone here to see if there's... It's all gone quiet. Live chat has moved. Where is it then? Oh, here we are. Yeah, so no real movement on the chat, but yeah. So we've had a good talk, haven't we? We've had a good talk about what I've done, what I plan to do, what I'd like to do. A friend of mine said to me, "You will never settle down. You will never just finish something, like get to the end of Bloody Students and go, that's me, I'm done now, that's it. I'm just going to relax and enjoy myself for the rest of my life." It's the ADHD brain, unfortunately. I think I've always got tabs open, and instead of closing a tab and enjoying the silence, it's more a case of ping, another tab pops up. Blessing or a curse, I don't know. It's made me very creative. It's also made me very stressed and complicated. But now I kind of this year, only this year, I started thinking about, is the way I think typical of someone with ADHD? And yes, it is. This is not like a theory. This is like, all right, I haven't been officially diagnosed, but honestly, the more I read about it, the more it explains my entire life. There is no doubt about it. But again, like I've said to everyone, it's an explanation, not an excuse. I'm not going to start saying to people, "Oh, sorry I was a dick to you last week. It's my ADHD playing up." No. If I'm a dick to someone and I apologise, it won't take the form of, "I can't help myself, it's ADHD." Of course I'll apologise. I don't have a problem with apologies. But like I said at the start of this chat, yeah, keep doing it, try and have fun. Yeah, that's what life's about, man. It's the F word. We're here for a fun time. We're here for a short time. We're here for a good time, not a long time, right? So just do the stuff that's fun, because there's no point in doing stuff that isn't fun. And if it stops being fun, don't feel any shame in dumping it. People have bad ideas all the time. Just do something else. Anyway, I'm going to make an effort to do a little bit more work on a piece of writing that I've been commissioned to do. I'm going to try and get that done tonight, but I've also got a limited number of hours before I get tired and edit together this video for the Hitchhiker's Helmet for tomorrow, being Tuesday. So thank you for watching, everybody. I am definitely going to go now, and again, thank you to everyone in the chat who's been chatting to me and stuff. Much appreciated. Otherwise, this would be a very short and very boring video. And I will see... Yeah, never answer... I don't like to answer unsolicited calls. No. But then sometimes you have to give your number out, and then they call you, and you're like, "Oh, I don't know if I should answer this." I hate doing that. I hate it. So, I like talking on the phone to people, but if you don't know who it is... Nah. Anyway, guys... guys and gals, or whoever is still watching, thank you for watching. I will chat to you soon. And what's that guy say on the one YouTube channel? Be kind, be safe, and know that you are appreciated.